Hey, Freddie.
All right. Is that the two-time GM of the year, the Tpffkal and Pantium Cup winner, Frederick Ewan? Do we have him? Who we definitely have is the commissioner of the best fantasy football league in America, Richard Michelli. And we're delighted to be bringing you a special guest of the GM of TOD. He looks like he's coming on here, but Rich, let's say a quick hello, just do a radio check. You there, Rich?
How you doing, Joe Moo? Thanks for putting this together. Mr. GM of the Donks for Life. Don't see you changing your name anytime soon if you are Donks for Life. So this is a fun afternoon for the league, the Tpffkal and the Tpffkal show in particular, put together by our good friend Freddie Ewan, GM of the Team of Destiny.
Speaking of Team of Destiny, it looks like we're going to have him on in just a minute, but thank you, Rich, and delighted to have you on a busy Sunday afternoon. As you can tell, I am poolside here with some of the kiddos and just working in some Tpffkal fun and important discussions. So I'm going to bring in Mr. Ewan right now. Mr. Commissioner, stand by. Here we go.
Hey, Freddie, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Where's your background, Joe Murray?
Hey, Mr.
We had
Ewan.
some technical issues. It's all right.
Yeah, we're working through. We're at.
I mean, I see Rick has his background on.
Yeah. So of course, the commissioner is always spot on, as you've come to know, Freddie, from your 2 years in the Tpffkal. We're really honored that you're joining on the other side of the hot seats, given that you've kicked off, looks like at least 6 interviews of folks, GMs like myself, Rich, Brian, Jimmy, and the infamous James from New Jersey. So the commissioner brought to my attention yesterday over some poker that would be appropriate as an equal opportunity to have the two-time GM of the year and Pantium Cup winner himself sit in the hot seat. So we're delighted you accepted the invitation from our PR people.
Absolutely. You know, I can play the role as the GM of the Team of Destiny right now. So.
Well, Freddie, I gave you a little intro before. Two-time GM of the year. Congratulations on that. I have a hunch you're not going to win 3-time GM of the year. I think most of the league, regardless if you win the league this year, most of the league, I think, was a little fed up with that moniker. So enjoy the 2-time GM of the year status.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think, the only person that I really saw that was upset was the guy who finished in 7th place the last couple of years. You know, he's the only one who's made a comment. And, I think that if people are going to, vote with who's the best GM, and TOD makes another run at it, I think it's deserving, so we'll see.
I definitely think that would be deserving. I think people would take that into consideration if you made a strong run. We're going to do a little bit of personal and, fantasy questions, but that actually leads me to one of my questions. With your budget this year, do you expect to go in headstrong into the playoffs, or are you looking forward to the following year as far as your drafting strategy or anything?
I think that, last year I, really just went all in and wanted to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. Very similar to what the Rams did a couple of years ago, where they traded everything. They got, they ended up winning the Super Bowl. We did the same thing. We spent a lot of money, made a lot of trades, got rid of a lot of prospects in order to line up and put the guys in right with the Pantium Cup. I think this year it's going to be a combination of both. Everyone starts out week 1, with 0-0. looking at the budget and everything, and I think I'm right in the middle as far as cap room is concerned. And I think it's, this year I'm always going to be focused on making the playoffs and winning, but I'm also going to be a little bit smarter and looking for the future as well. And one of the reasons with that is, the acquisition of Garrett Wilson.
Freddie, let's get a little personal here. We all know you in the Donk House lore of beginning friendship with us, reconnecting after over 30 years since we attended the same high school, and you moving down to Virginia where we live. And then my introduction to the chairman or commissioner, Rich, through poker. And here we are, thick as thieves in fantasy football. Tell us, what is your real name? Are you John? Are you Freddie? Are you just Team of Dennis? How did we get there? And then we could talk about some other follow-up upbringing questions. But viewers want to know who you are.
My full name is John David Frederick Ewan, but I have been called Freddie since the day I was born. So
that's crazy. Yeah.
So you've got 4 names. That must mean like you're English royalty or something. Do you hail from some lineage of like the Queen Polish or King royalty. Of England or something? Well, I got to tell you, so everyone knows of your New Jersey roots because you, me, James, Nunzio never fail to remind people of that, including Billy. But you went to Powerhouse, New Jersey education, started in Spring Lake Heights Elementary up through Manasquan High School Warriors to Florida Atlantic University. And allegedly, our scouting report from the commissioner and I, we did some research and we paid top dollar for some background and we found out you actually played a little bit of college basketball. How did your physical, skinny, long frame of playing basketball at Florida Atlantic turn you into an NFL and fantasy football player? How did that translate? You want to speak about that?
So University of North Florida. Not Florida Atlantic, University of North Florida. FAU is a team that finished in the Final Four that year. UNF has been to the tournament, I think, once. So growing up, I believe it or not, I did not play basketball in high school. I got cut a couple times. I love basketball. My father played college at Northwestern University. He was a big basketball player. I played basketball all growing up. Instead of, when I got out of high school, I went to Ocean County College for a year, and I played on the basketball team there. And from there, ended up going to University of North Florida and walked on the basketball team. I was the 13th man. I think I played a total of 13 minutes the whole year. But I can tell everyone I played Division I college basketball. So
congratulations, that's great, Freddie. That is great. Getting back to
Rich, Commissioner and I are gonna. We're going to fire our scouting report. It must be the pina colada that we got the wrong time. Commissioner, take it away from here.
Certainly, and then your prowess as a fantasy football GM. Obviously, we know you are a master of that. In the draft, as far as your strategy, the previous two years in the draft, you chose 2 of the first 5 players nominated. Is this a strategy of yours, the new GAIEST, go in all early strategy, or is this part of your ADD-ness, your personality that you can't sit still, or is it a form of intimidation towards the other GMs that you want to get on the board early and show them what you're about?
It's probably a combination of everything, I don't think that was on purpose or anything. I know that, I know the first year I really wanted to just get 2 top running backs and go from there. And the second year, I don't even know. The second year I was lucky because there were 2 guys on the board that I wanted, which were Diggs and Kels, and they both went way undervalued. I was bidding on them, but I was surprised that I got them for that price. So I don't think necessarily in, this year, I think, with, it's going to be interesting. I think, I have 2 slots, I have 2 receiver slots filled. I like your guy a lot, Rich Dotson. I'm all for Garrett Wilson. I think that you know, I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try. It's gonna be different, but I'm gonna try to look for, you know, one big guy, and then really just fill out my roster with some some guy, you know, with some mid round size guys that I like. But you know, and who knows? You know, I think I have enough for two big guys too. So you know, the draft's gonna be a lot different this year. There's a lot of less cap room in years before. And it's really top heavy with the, you know, the top two. I think only two players now are over $200, so it's going to be really interesting. But it's going to be important. The draft's going to be a very important day.
Yeah, and 2 years in a row you had Dalvin Cook. Is he still a target of yours for 3 years in a row?
Absolutely not.
All right,
I don't think so.
The
JET Jets.
is a good
Let's go
option
Jets.
Strategy.
I think that,
That's,
you know,
that's right, Commish.
I think the I think that the Jets who knows what's going on with the Jets. It's a good problem. It's a good problem for the Jets to have. It's a bad problem for Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook owners to have. Let's put it to you that way.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Commissioner. So, Mr. Ewan, we've heard a lot just from over the years of your poker professional experience. I think 7 years in Las Vegas, that period of your life, and how you got involved with that. And what would you attribute your poker experience and skills to translate into becoming the two-time GM of the year, the Tpffkal and Pantium Cup winner? Are there any parallels that you draw from your poker prowess?
I mean, I think that poker and fantasy football have a ton of similarities together. You know, poker is a game of skill and a game of luck, and you know, fantasy football is a game of skill and a game of luck. And it's just like, you know, it's comparable as, you know, everyone plays each other weekly, head to head. It's comparable to a poker tournament. You can be the you know, you can be the most skilled GM and know absolutely everything about everything, and still lose and still finish with a crappy record. And same thing with poker. You can be the best poker player in the world and you can be the first one out of a tournament. So I think that, you know, over time, and you've seen that almost with, you know, the last 2 years. And I think you might see that. I think you might see that consistently almost, is that you're going to see that, you know, there's 4 GMs that made the playoffs 2 years in a row. And I think consistently over time, the better fantasy football players will have better results, but that's not always the truth. And the same thing with poker. You know, it's like you could play a poker tournament and you could be the first one out, but, you know, consistently over time, the better poker players are going to win, are going to win more often. So I think there's a huge correlation between, you know, poker and fantasy football.
Yeah, along those lines, you churn quite a few players throughout the year with your fab budget, easily the most transactions in the league. Whereas somebody like Doug had a lot of fab budget left and he made the finals last year. Do you suggest this strategy of yours, or is this again part of your ADD that you can't settle on one player or strategy?
Well, I think that, you know, I mean, I don't even know if Doug knew how to use the fab budget, because if you remember, I think it was like December last year, he called you and me and, you know, wanted to know how to pick up a team. So, but, you know, Doug spent a lot of money last year and he got the players, and, you know, he was not you know, he didn't finish with the best record and he didn't finish with a bye. He hit it off in the playoffs. But I think that, you know, I'm sure I did the same thing last year too. I think that the free agent budget and picking up the right guys is, it's important. People are going to get injured, getting on and finding the right guys, and also playing the matchups. You know, it's like, I mean, I'm just going to give you some kind of example is, you know, you have Jalen Hurts and he's playing the Texans one week, and the Texans have a horrible defense. And then the next week he's playing the, you know, San Francisco 49ers with the better defense. You know, the matchups are going to say that he's going to have a better week against the Texans. Same thing with, you know, wide receivers, that they have easier matchups with cornerbacks. So if you can find a guy off the waiver wire that can, that's going to be a better matchup at a tight end or a wide receiver for, you know, that week, and you can get him for $1, you know, it's worth taking that risk. And that's, I've been successful in lots of fantasy football leagues, by playing the waiver wire. Amon St. Brown is a perfect example. I picked him up at the end of the year, the first year, and the guy just took off, and he was the guy who really ignited me into the playoffs at that point. Same thing with Elijah Mitchell. So I know that we're going to find guys that are on the waiver wire, and you find that right guy. That guy not only can get you into the playoffs, but he might be a keeper for years.
Back to you, Joe.
Yeah, great segue, Freddie. So
We know you
have a strong affinity for cats, and we've met Sue many a times, a $6,000 cat.
we know of your love of Philadelphia Eagles and
How lucky
you were to procure a signed Jalen Hurts jersey at my daughter's charity, the EB Legal Aid Society, last fall. What I don't think has been fully acquitted, though, is from other professional leagues like the MLB,
the NBA, hockey, you've got a really bifurcated allegiance. Like I hear Knicks, Nets,
What's that?
what's going on with the Eagles love versus the other leagues?
So as you know, Joe, we both grew up in New York Giant, New York Jet territory. Everybody, you drive down Route 71 in from Manasquan to Asbury Park, and you're going to see nothing but Jets and Giants signs everywhere. I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan. I am a diehard New York Yankees fan. I'm a diehard New York Rangers fan, and I'm a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan. And, the difference is my stepfather, who has been, my stepfather for ever since I was probably 3 or 4 years old. He's born and raised in Philadelphia. My father was not that big of a NFL fan. And my stepfather, played football out in Philly. He's a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan. And that's how I became an Eagles fan. Ever since I was 3 or 4 years old, I've been an Eagles fan, following Randall Cunningham and Ron Jaworski,
Big time. Well, I've got one final question other than
I got a couple more, Joe.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to you, Rich, Commissioner. Then we'll start keeping going. It's been a great dialogue with the two-time GM of the Year, Penny and Cup winner, fantasy football god, lowercase g, Freddie Ewan. Commissioner.
I like it. It's respect. You hear that, Neil? Respect.
Okay. We had a good laugh with you and Jimmy's team name. Let's see if you can pronounce these special names. Can you see this?
Yeah. Seymour Butts.
Okay, you got that one.
I can't see it. I'm looking at Joe for some reason. Hold on.
Let me get back on the screen. Can you see me now?
Yeah, this is I can't. You gotta back that up a little bit. Amanda Hunsky.
Try again.
Amanda Hugging Keys.
Hugging Keys is close. Amanda Hugging Kiss. You want Amanda Hugging Kiss.
I told you. I told you guys I'm ambidextrous. So bring it up a little bit. Jacques. Bring it up a little bit more. Just bring it higher.
All right. Can you see it now?
No, bring it over your face for a second.
I can't. If it goes over my face, then it doesn't say it.
Oh, Jockstrap.
Jockstrap. He got it. Very good. All right. Let's see. Last one.
Urinator.
Urinator.
Solid.
All right. Last question for me, Freddie. What you've asked this question to everybody, and I think you've answered it, but without being the TOD, who would be the winner of the league this year?
I think you have to you have to put it in James's hands right now. James had a great offseason. He picked up Travis Kelce at a discount. He picked up Tony Pollard at a discount. That was a tough trade for me to make, but I did get someone back, who's going to be a stud. He got Justin Jefferson and Ridley, and you look at the other two guys who had a lot of cap room. Brian, I love you, but he really doesn't have any, Brian's going to have to make a big splash in the draft to really make up for what James did in the offseason.
Do you think Brian has it in
him
him to spend that kind of big cash?
I mean, he's got the cash, so he's got to spend it. You know, it's like you can't keep that money afterwards, Brian. It's like, you know, you got to spend it. So it's like, I'm sure, you know, Brian knows his fantasy football. You know, I think Brian's biggest issue is, you know, he's sometimes afraid to take risks. And in this league, you know, you got to take some risks to get the reward. I know, you know, last year we offered a trade for him. Me and Neil were trying to work on a three-way trade, which he did not do. And that three-way trade would have actually destroyed me and put him over the edge. So thank God for that. But, you know, I think that, you know, James is a smart guy. I've been in a couple other leagues with him. And, you know, he's still got $200 worth of cap room, and he's got, you know, he's got 2 guys that I think are in the top 5 or 6 and 4 guys that are probably in the top 25. So I think that really he's got a, you know, huge opportunity. He'd be my pick easily to win it all.
Well, that's good. I've got one more for us, Commissioner, and I want to ask the fantasy football God, lowercase g, Frederick Ewan here, TODGM. When I say the name of each of our franchise GMs, what one-word description immediately comes to mind? So right now, what do you think of when I say rock thrower GM?
7th place.
Virginia Sea Dogs. Virginia Sea Dogs.
Negative EV.
From Justin to Kelsey.
Predicted champion.
Former Sharknadoes. I don't know the name of Rich's team. What is it, Rich?
Red Sharks.
Tricky Commish.
Donks for life. Be careful here. Be careful.
Seagert.
That's a safe bet. Way to go. Gronk Donks.
Rob Gronkowski. Cut him.
Commissioner, what other teams we have? I forget their names. Prairie Dogs.
Last place.
Chicken of the Cave.
Too many quarterbacks.
Joe Moo.
Seagert.
No, Zach changed his name to Joe Moo.
Oh, he did?
God, Zach, thank you for the preseason trade last year, Zach. Thank you.
We'll take that as an answer because that's great.
And then we got one more. Bowser's team, Shake and Bake.
Should have beat me in the playoffs.
One more. Oh yeah, thank you.
Don Keatix. Buffalo Bills, always great in the regular season, horrible in the playoffs.
Oh, last but not least, that was good.
That's a good shot across the bow there.
Team of Destiny.
Yeah, Team of Destiny. All right, good interview, guys.
Two-time GM of the year, current Pantium Cup champion.
All right,
Nice.
Freddie, Commissioner, we're so honored you blessed this to happen. Freddie, keep up the great work. You've been making this league the best fantasy football league in America. And we'll give the last word to the Commissioner, unless, Freddie, you want to have any closing remarks, and then we'll give it to the Commish.
No, you guys were great. I can't wait to get this up.
Yeah, sounds good, guys. We'll see you.
Awesome.
All right, great interview. See you guys.